Everyone. Welcome to CAP Tulsa's Kindergarten Transition Panel for program year 2021 and 2022. My name is Felicia Detheridge. I am the Director of Quality Assurance and Special Services. I will be hosting today along with Miriam Conley from CAP Tulsa. She serves as our ECP Data Specialist, and we will go over our agenda and all the materials that we will be covering today. So we will also talk about readiness to school success, what that looks like, the different supports we have in place, and how we can best transition your child to ensure that they have school success from our program into the public school system. From there, we'll also have panelist introductions from representatives from Tulsa Public Schools, and we will go into some frequently asked questions regarding the transition process. A couple things to cover is that you will be able to notice this logo that kind of looks like a globe that will be located at the bottom of your screen. This will be used for any kind of interpretation settings that you might need. This session is available in both Spanish and Zomi. The translators are on standby as well. And so I will pause now and allow them to introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan Godinez. I am the team lead for the Interpretation and Translation Services at CAP. I will be interpreting into Spanish today. If there's any Spanish speakers in the Spanish channel who need interpretation, I would ask that if you don't mind, pace yourselves when speaking, and I will be waving my hand in case I fall behind or I need you to slow down a little bit. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Iván Godínez, voy a ser el intérprete de esta sesión esta tarde. Si tienen alguna pregunta, siéntanse en confianza de someterla en la cajita de chat y al final podemos responder cualquier pregunta que tenga.
Hello, cái mình bên chính hi na tôi đi hi tán lăng tôi phải sai thu gen na dầu bao to cầm mong pen đi hi ina na gen nó có le hi ta checkbox ang sakin la amalang lo le na khut to zong ki lam thi hi ina to gen na sa no hi. Hello, my name is Ching. I am a Burmese Zomi interpreter. I am going to use Zomi language for today. I'm going to I'm going to represent the presenter and also the parents. So if I feel like it's kind of fast, I'm gonna raise my hand, and if the parents ask questions in the chat box, I will do my best to cover the answer. So nice to meet you all.
Hi, my name is Abigail Espinosa. I will be in charge of the chat. I'm also a Spanish interpreter, so if you guys need or have a question, if you might writing it in the chat, and I will do my best to answer it. Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Abby Espinosa. Estaré a cargo del chat. Si tienen alguna pregunta, por favor de escribirla ahí y haré lo mejor posible para poder contestarla. Gracias.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Now, as you will notice, that will be activated at the bottom part of the screen. Additionally, we have included in the chat the PowerPoints that are also in the preferred language. You will also notice at the bottom part of the screen to the left a Q&A section, and you have the capability to submit your questions anonymously if you would like. Also at the bottom, you will see the symbol for the chat that you can have. If you have any need for assistance, you're able to message the moderators or interpreters at that time. We will hold until the end of the session to have all of the additional questions that have been entered through either the Q&A button or the chat at the very end. Okay, and with that, we will briefly touch on our CAP Connect program and what that looks like. So any members of the CAP Connect program can expect a CAP Tulsa staff member to stay connected over the next year to discuss various things after your child has transitioned. So they want to learn more about your child's kindergarten experience, how we're able to best support in ensuring that your child continues to learn at school and at home simultaneously to where they're best supported in both environments. Also through the use of any kind of community resources and to provide assistance if you need help in navigating any challenges that you might face with the transition to elementary school. So definitely more information on how to enroll your child into CAP Connect, but that will also be another thing to look forward to in regards to the transition process. So with that being said, I will now turn it over to Miriam as she will begin with our panelist introductions.
Okay, so before we begin our panel discussion, we want to talk to you briefly about how, excuse me, parents can reinforce their child's readiness to ensure school success in elementary school. So kindergarten readiness is the concept used to describe the domains of a child's early learning development as they relate to preparedness for school. So readiness domains include academics, so how a child learns to study and reason, health and wellness, a child's physical and mental well-being, self-care skills, so how well a child can groom and feed themselves, and then social emotional development, or how well a child manages their emotions and their capacity to develop meaningful relationships with peers and teachers. So development across each readiness domain can be reinforced with parent support. So for example, parents can continue to strengthen their child's early learning math and literacy skills by fostering curiosity, comprehension, and communication in language arts, math, science, and social studies. And they can continue to sustain development in other domains by staying up to date on the child's routine checkups, health screenings and appointments, and even preparing healthy meals and snacks to support health and wellness. Parents can also use meal times and bedtime routines to model self-care activities and teach kids how to carry out daily tasks. And to promote social emotional development, parents can continue to seek extracurricular opportunities for learning and connection to help their child sustain that social emotional development. So in addition to the supports that we've discussed briefly, attendance can also be an important part of school success. So it's important that your child attends school regularly in kindergarten to help them acclimate to their new school environment. Chronic absenteeism or missing 18 or more days of school really can impact the child's ability to build relationships with teachers and classmates. And missing 2 days of school each month can also affect the child's ability to develop literacy skills. Tardiness is also very important to avoid because it can lead to increased absences, and unexcused absences and tardiness can disrupt not only the child's learning, but the whole class's progress. So now we can get into our panel introductions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Devani. I'm the Student Recruitment and Community Engagement Coordinator for the Early Childhood team.
And my name is Jordan Sheffield Mix. I am our Content Manager for Early Childhood for the district.
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Villalobos. I am the Parent Facilitator for Disney Elementary, and I'll be serving as a panelist today.
And I will introduce Courtney. I know she's doing multiple things right now. And so Courtney McGilbra is our Early Childhood Coordinator who handles a lot of the logistics and support on our team.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. So with that, we'll get into our first question. What is your district or program's enrollment process? And can you complete the enrollment process without a state or federally issued identification card?
Yep. So our enrollment process, the first step, it would be to go on the Tulsa Public Schools website enrollment page, and that can be found on tulsaschools.org/enrollment. a great tool that we have that helps parents find a school near them, and the programs they have is Find a School. And that can help you select 6 schools that best fit your students' needs. So once you have your 6 schools that best fit your students' needs, you can complete the enrollment application online. And so one thing we want to very much just repeat, we want parents to receive notices and emails about any updates about their enrollment application. So we always ask that if you create an account, to make sure you have a current email and to always save that information, because you'll be using that account for other things such as before and after care enrollment. So the other part of the enrollment and application process is uploading your documents. And we do ask that parents have a identification if they do not have a state or federally issued identification card. We will work with them. Basically, what I've told to parents is that as long as they have something showing their face, their name, date of birth, just identifying them, we can work with that. But always reach out to our team or the enrollment center. So that, like I said, the second part, uploading your documents, and then once you upload them, you will receive a confirmation once you've submitted the application. Jordan, is there anything?
Just 1 or 2 things to add. I think you got most of it, Devani. If you don't have access to the internet, there are other options for you. You can go to our enrollment center and enroll in person at TPS. We have our own kind of text lines that we work with families. If you, a lot of us work odd hours. We work around the clock. It's hard for us to get away for more than 10 minutes at a time. So you're welcome to reach out to our team. We always have flyers and information that we'll hand out and provide CAP as well, that has our direct contacts. So you can also, like, if you get stuck, just text us, call that number, go to the enrollment center. There's multiple options for ways that you can enroll. We might go into this more later, but also just wanted to clarify that there's an enrollment window. That's like Devani was speaking about, that you can choose up to 6 schools. We're a district of choice. So you have the ability during that enrollment window to enroll at any Tulsa public school that you'd like. You can choose up to 6 of those. And then we run a lottery that puts in an algorithm and tries to match families with their top choice. And then we'll follow up by spring, let families know what their options are. But you have the ability to roll past that window up until August. But that little block from January 5th to February 3rd is the lottery, where you can enroll in any school and have the opportunity to enroll anywhere in the district.
One more thing I just want to add. If birth certificate or proof of address or immunization, if there's an issue obtaining them, please also reach out to us. We will work around, we'll work different solutions. We'll come up with something to get your babies enrolled.
Yeah, we want to make sure that families know that please don't ever let a lack of documentation of any kind keep you from enrolling. We will help you get that kiddo enrolled in school. We want them in pre-K and kindergarten.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So our next question is, what is your district's or program's attendance policy?
I can start off with this one, Devani, and you can let me know if I forgot anything. So our district policy is pretty similar to most public school policies. All absences that happen need to be, a family needs to contact the school to let them know why their child's out for the day. One, for tracking and state reasons, but also just for the safety of your child and your family. So we do ask within 48 hours if the child is gone, that you call the school and let them know. An excused absence, if If they have a doctor's note, dentist letter, something showing why they were out of school for that day, we will count that as an excused absence. Other than that, even if a family calls in and says, I'm keeping them home today, we mark that as an absence. Devani, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's when we go over 10. 10, thank you. When we go over 10 absences is when we have our public school starts to report things to the state to make sure that families are safe, to make sure that children are being taken care of. I always urge families to talk with their school leader, their principal, if something's going on that's keeping your child home, so that the school is aware, because we will reach out to families if we start seeing those pile up. Because we want to make sure that child's there and able to learn and that the family's taken care of and has everything that they need. So yeah, we do ask that you call, let us know why your child's gone for the day, provide a doctor or dentist note if there's a reason they were out for the day. And then normally about the time they get to 8 is when the school starts to send some letters and contact and really try to work with the family to see what's going on. Did I forget anything, Devani?
And I saw, I saw Elizabeth was coming off mute. Did you want to add anything?
Please.
So specifically Disney Elementary, we have a personal attendance goal of 96% throughout the school year. But it pretty much matches what was already mentioned. If you know that your child is going to be absent, please call the attendance office before 9 o'clock just to avoid getting that automated phone call, because then they tend to think that an emergency has happened and it's just attendance. And like they mentioned, if your child is going to be absent due to an appointment or funeral of some sort, we do require documentation. Any absence that is not with some sort of note or documentation will be documented as an unexcused, and 10 consecutive calendar days of non-attendance will cause a student to be automatically dropped. And when that happens, a parent does need to go to the enrollment center and re-enroll their child.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And so with that, we'll go to our next question. How does your district or program support children with special needs? And Felicia, would you like to describe a little bit about CAP's process in supporting those kids?
Absolutely. So those of you that may be receiving a special services from CAP Tulsa, you also know that we are a fully inclusive program. And a part of that is ensuring that all players and partners are involved in the success for your child, whether it's through an IEP or any kind of adaptive equipment, necessary accommodations in the classroom. We ensure that the school leader, the parent, and the school district are all coming together to be one big supportive team. Additionally, being in a fully inclusive program, the child is from day in and day out amongst typically developing peers. And so what we try to do is ensure that any type of goal setting is also in conjunction with our partners in public school. And so what we would like to do is also have the opportunity to discuss what environmental setting may look like that the parent can expect to have some similar experiences for their child, as well as what they might anticipate it looking a little bit differently once they go into the public school system. So we wanted just to kind of say that we are constantly in a partnership to best support your child, especially as they transition into the different programs. But then we also wanted to highlight any kind of differences as well. So with that being said, I will kick it over back to TPS to see what you might be able to share with some of our parents.
Thank you. Yeah, I can kind of share the big picture of this, but I would definitely encourage you that if you have specific questions, to reach out to our Exceptional Student Services team, because they can answer things in much, much more detail. But I'd like to give you kind of the big picture. We offer special education services to all of our students ages 3 through 21. One of the biggest things that I would encourage is if your child is receiving services right now, if they have a diagnosis, whether that's through CAP, through their primary care physician, through a speech pathologist, I encourage you to provide that information at enrollment. And one of the most important reasons for that is that your child can automatically start receiving services when they enroll. We don't have to go through an evaluation process and your child's in this kind of waiting period to be able to receive what they need. So my biggest push would be if you have concerns or if you have a diagnosis with your child, please submit that when you enroll them so that we can get going from the very start before they ever set foot into a building to make sure that you and your child both have what they need. We of course, just like any other state or federal program, we provide 504 plans, IFSPs for our students. We work to set individual goals. We also use what's called the least restrictive environment. So our hope is that our students who receive special education services can do exactly what you described at CAP, that they can be in a classroom full time with typical neurotypical peers. However, we also have special education and rooms, our ESS rooms, our exceptional student rooms. And those are placed throughout different schools at Tulsa Public. We have our developmentally delayed classrooms for our younger 3 to 4-year-olds. We have mild and moderate rooms. We have rooms that serve students with autism. So it's varies greatly based on the need of your child. Our goal is always going to be to put them into the environment that's the least restrictive for them, that puts them with their peers as much as they can be. But we do have our rooms that provide specialized services depending on your child's needs. So some children need to spend the majority of their day in a special education room getting very individualized services. Others spend about half the day in and out of those rooms. Some of our students spend all day in one of our regular ed classrooms, and they just have a special ed teacher that works with the regular ed teacher to be able to customize their individualized plans and support the regular ed teacher with any additional things they might need. If you ever have concerns in your child's first year at school, I always say reach out to the teacher and request an evaluation. We have school psychologists that are able to do evaluations on your child and make sure that they get diagnosed and get the services that they need to help them while they're young so that they're developing all of those skills that are so vitally important in kindergarten.
Thank you, Jordan. And so similar to the discussion about accommodations, our next question is what accommodations are made for children with health needs or dietary restrictions, and what documents are necessary?
So I would say very similar. Of course, we will make any accommodations that a child needs. If they have nutritional accommodations that they need, any type of health accommodation, normally it's as easy as just providing a doctor's note or whatever note it is that comes from a professional that states what it is, what accommodations that child needs. We also have our 504 plans that we do a lot of the time for students who have some type of health need, dietary need, something that does not qualify for an IEP, an individualized education plan, but lays out the accommodations that child might need to meet their individual health or dietary needs. So again, just provide that documentation up front. Let the school nurse, let your teacher, let the principals know when you enroll so that they know right off the bat what it is that your child needs and we have the documentation in place. I also just want to reassure that we have a big red health symbol at the top of your child's digital screen basically, that anytime a sub, anybody were to pull up your child's account, it's going to show big and bold that this child has a health restriction. And it will tell that person exactly what it is that that child needs, just as a safety measure.
Thank you, Jordan. So our next question it relates to different school supplies and uniform resources. So how can families access resources for uniforms and school supplies?
So we work with local organizations in helping provide those needs. So that can include clothes, school supplies, shoes, or specifically requested items. You can reach out to your school's counselor or a parent facilitator if you need assistance with uniforms or school supplies.
Thank you. So our next question will be, does your district or program offer parent associations, and how can families volunteer? And I know this is one that we asked last year, but how have things changed since the pandemic has improved?
Yeah, so we recently started having parent volunteers come back into the building, but one of the things we are requiring is that they follow safety protocols. That's also just based on how the numbers look in the Tulsa area. But if you're interested in volunteering, you can ask your child's teacher or parent facilitator to learn more about ways to volunteer at your school. Jordan, am I missing anything?
Just our parent associations. We have a few different opportunities for parents to engage. One of them, we have a Tulsa Public Schools, a district-wide PTA that has a few members from all over Tulsa, grade levels. And this is a group that meets monthly, I believe, and just provides, they gather information and distribute it throughout the community. They provide input and feedback. We also have two smaller associations. We have our Early Childhood Parent Council. Right now it's for our pre-K families, but next year we're expanding it to pre-K and K, which we're very excited about. And we also meet with them monthly. They meet with our early childhood team, and we ask them for input and feedback on different programs and initiatives that we have going on, and just ask them to raise anything that they are concerned about, that they enjoy, that they're excited about, so that we can partner with families and better customize what we're doing to meet their needs. Last but not least, Ivana, you might have to help me with Mari Carmen's group. She has a group for Hispanic families. Do you remember the name of it?
So the group is for students that are learning English as their second language. So the same like our parent council, they also ask for feedback. They also give them information just on different type of services that our district provides.
And one last little sneak peek. This is kind of a parent association. We're also working on launching a parent academy that will be for parents to be able to come together, learn from each other, learn from presenters. We're kind of doing like a real soft launch of that this year, and then hope to expand it next year. So multiple ways to volunteer, be a part of the district, provide input and feedback to us.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Many of our parents will be familiar with Policy Council, which is our in-house parent council. So this will be a great opportunity to continue that service to the community. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, our early childhood parent council is similar, I would say, a informal version of Policy Council.
And that takes us to our next question. How can families engage with teachers, and what technology is used to do so?
Just to give like a school example, like Disney Elementary's teachers all use a variety of different platforms, but an example would be like them using Class Dojo, Remind, talking points to engage with their entire class. We use School Messenger to get out mass communication to our entire school. And Talking Points, for example, is a platform that we can share in English, and it's going to automatically translate it to a parent's home language.
I think Elizabeth really covered it there. Yeah, School Messenger is our district-wide. It's where we would push out our mains communication on important upcoming things. But just like Elizabeth said, each school has kind of their own little systems, and they typically share those in the first, either before you start school or within that first week of school, so that families can link up with their individual child's teacher, whether that's through a lot of the different systems she mentioned, Talking Points, Remind, all of the communication apps. I would also say you can schedule an appointment with your teacher and just meet with them and have a conversation too.
Yep, and that's something that families will be, they'll also be mindful of, because at CAP, they are encouraged to reach out to the teacher, especially outside of those home visit and those parent conference times as well. So that's something that'll continue with TPS.
One tiny thing that I would love to add, just to kind of paint a picture to a parent that might be a little bit nervous about sending their baby to a bigger school with bigger kids, is that in a typical school year, we do have regular parent parties so that parents can come into the school, they can meet the staff, they can kind of form those relationships and have that one-on-one interaction, which really helps them feel much more comfortable and become a part of that school family.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Okay. And so our next question will be, how can families enroll their children in before and after care? And we touched on this a little bit at the beginning when we talked about the enrollment processes. So Devani, could you give us a little bit more information?
Yep. So there is also an enrollment window for before and after care. And they will use the same account they use to enroll their kiddos in for the enrollment window. So it's still the before and after care enrollment window, I believe, was last year around summer. So it might open during the summer, but I would just be on the lookout on our Facebook page. We will announce it. So families would be enrolling into that account at enroll.tulsaschools.org. One of the requirements for them to enroll into the before and after care is that they'll need their student ID number. And if they don't know it, they can email the enrollment center at enroll@tulsaschools.org. Or they can reach out to us and we can provide that information too at earlychildhood@tulsaschools.org. And the enrollment window for that, like I said, it's in summer, but parents will know before school starts if their kiddos were placed in before and after school care. Jordan, am I missing anything else?
I think the only thing I would add is as of now, all of our schools have a before and after care program, which is a change over the last years. However, some of them are through our TPS before and after care team. And we do have a few schools that use an outside provider, like the YMCA or a local organization that is in their school community. But every school will provide before and after care. The majority of them are through our TPS, before and after care workers, but a few are community partnerships.
Thank you so much. So the big one on this one to remember is to always check social media for updates and check the TPS website as well for more information. Okay. And so with that, we'll move on and see if we have sourced any questions from the chat.
Okay, at this moment, there have not been any additional submitted questions. It looks like everything has been covered during our frequently asked questions. So thank you guys again for covering everything so well and being so thorough and thoughtful in your responses. So a lot of good information that we can provide our families. And hopefully this has been very insightful for you being able to watch and participate in this as well. So thank you.
Okay. And so with that, we want to express our gratitude for the Tulsa Public Schools team for taking time to join us and speak and to share information about the district's kindergarten programs. Special thanks to you all for joining us for a second year in a row, as this is our second annual panel session. And so we really would also like to thank anyone who registered for the live session and those who will watch this session at CAP Tulsa's YouTube page. So for more information about how you can support your child's transition to kindergarten, please contact transitions@captulsa.org.